In 1988, a woman named Kathy Davis from suburban Indianapolis claimed to have had a close encounter with a UFO. The incident occurred in July 1983, when Davis was investigating strange lights in her parents' backyard. During the encounter, she felt hot and experienced physical symptoms, including hair loss and disturbing dreams. The next morning, there were burn marks on the grass in the shape of a circle, and soil samples indicated that the earth had been baked at high temperatures. Under hypnosis, Davis remembered being pulled down and experiencing a sharp pain in her ear, as well as hearing a voice say, "I'm sorry I hurt you." She also saw a large, dark form and heard her name being called. It is believed that this encounter was with the occupants of a UFO that had landed in her parents' yard that night. Click the link below to continue the story. Thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, when I was first asked to be on the conference and talk, I didn't want to do it. And after I thought about it for a while, I just felt like I had to do it. I had to do it because I knew there were a lot of people out there that had experienced things and had had memories of things they didn't understand and felt uncomfortable with them. And I knew that the other people who had talked to me about it and shared their stuff with me helped me to feel better about a lot of things, so I thought I could help somebody else. And then I thought, what good is it going to do me if I hide behind this name?
Right. And it's basically, you said it's their problem. This is your story. You don't have to believe this. You're not here to sell anything. It's just your story.
That's right.
Now, when we were talking about this, you still, and you've been through a lot, you refer to these as dreams. You still, in your own mind, fight with this experience.
There are some parts of it I don't have any problem with. It's very easy for me to say, yes, I believe that there's got to be some other kind of life somewhere else, and I know what I've seen and what my mother and I saw together. Nobody can tell me I didn't see it. They weren't there, and I know what I saw. If you don't believe me, that's
your
too
problem.
bad.
Right.
But there are things that I do have problems believing, accepting.
What do you have problems with? The hardest part for you is?
Well, the hardest part for me is when I got pregnant. Because when I got pregnant, I assumed that I got pregnant by the man that I was going to marry. And I still think I did. I don't, it's just a tug of war inside of me. And I was just like any other woman that got pregnant and then lost a baby. It hurt all the same, But the circumstances under which I lost it were unusual, to say the least. And that's why I kept it to myself for 7 years after. My mother knew that I had been pregnant and then wasn't pregnant.
So you're pregnant, you're suddenly not pregnant, and what happened to this child was, at least your dream recall is, that you were abducted and the child was taken from you.
The day that I woke up, and the first thing that came to my mind when I woke up that morning was, I'm not pregnant.
This is after an abduction experience, a dream experience.
Well, yeah. I'm not pregnant. And then I got up and went to the restroom, and there was a little bit of spotting. But I still continued to say I wasn't pregnant. I also felt that I had a baby girl. And
in a subsequent abduction, when you went through one of these dream experiences, you were shown a child. And this child you recognized, but it's part human and it's part not human.
It didn't look real good.
How old would this child have been when you saw her?
About 3 or 4.
Deanie, one thing is that this is, of course, the most difficult thing for Debbie or anybody else to talk about who's been through these experiences. I mean, you can talk easily about other sides of it, but obviously this goes to the heart of one's feelings. But this has happened to a number of other people, and I'm dealing now with dozens of similar cases. Recently, a woman who's married to a doctor who was pregnant and went through 3 months of pregnancy, and there was a heartbeat on the ultrasound of the embryo, the fetus, and so forth. And then one morning, she had a normal period, and there was suddenly no more.
There's no fetus.
No fetus. She went in, and they did a D&C and sent everything to pathology, and there was absolutely no fetal tissue. And the doctors simply did not know what to do about this. Now, this happens to be the wife of a doctor, and she's been bereft, although she does not want to accept. She has asked me to tell her that this didn't have anything to do with her other extensive UFO experiences.
As a woman, understand, Debbie, I mean, women understand. I mean, you're telling the story, I'm thinking of my son or my daughter, and one understands as a woman the tremendous loss that is implied here. But this experience in your family is not only you. Your mom went through this, you went through this, your older sister went through this, you read this man's first book, you write to this man, and I'm putting myself in your position because I know that I would be saying to myself, Deanie, you're crazy. You just got to forget this because there's something gone a little wrong. You don't want to tell anybody because maybe you're just coming apart internally, right? So we'll keep this real quiet?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it was reading his book that gave you that little step forward.
Well, actually, it wasn't reading his book. It was the last episode, or whatever you want to call it, that left a mark in the yard. I had to live with looking at that thing every day. And when I did, every time I did, I'd remember things. A lot of the things that I remember, I didn't need hypnosis to remember. Things that go way back till I was really little.
Okay, your abduction started at what age? Your dreams started at what age of being abducted?
The first time I went to Detroit and I was missing all day and they couldn't find me, I was, I think, like between 6 and 7.
And how many times has this happened to you now up to present time? How many experiences have there been?
6 or 7.
Probably a few more than that, actually.
Okay, now you don't know whether or not this is going to happen to you again. I mean, you sit here now, and you don't know. You have to live with this, that this dream may come back again.
Yep.
This is not a comfortable thing to have to live with, Debbie. I mean, I keep trying to put myself in your shoes, and this would, you know, what do you do for reassurance? How do you keep it together, Debbie? How do you just keep going here?
Well, I'm sitting here. I got all my arms and legs. I'm alive, you know.
And that's okay?
Also, when we put people together with other people in a support group who have been through these experiences, and a person can sit there in a room full of people who all seem normal and happy, relatively speaking, you feel better about yourself, you have less self-doubt, and I think that Debbie's certainly been a wonderful addition to a support group that we have in New York, and I think that's been rich, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I'm lucky because it involved my entire family, half of the neighborhood we lived in. I mean, you know, it wasn't just me.
Oh, okay, yeah. That would help a lot if it was...
It really helps a lot that my family has seen it, all the strange stuff and everything. So.
Just one last quick question, because, you know, as I smile when I think about this. Okay, so Debbie meets this wonderful man, and you married this man subsequently, right? And he doesn't know anything about it.
Sure, he knew everything about it.
Well, but when did you, I mean, there was a time at which he didn't know, and you had to say, listen, honey, there's just something I think you ought to know about me.
Well, when I met him...
And I would really like to have seen his face, Debbie.
He already knew me and loved me just for what I was, and knew that I wasn't a liar or a cheat, so when I told him my fears and what things that were happening as we were going together, he just accepted it.